Cheers.
So who's the spokesperson for the band whenever y'all get in trouble with the cops?
That'd be Jason.
It'd be Jason.
He's the one that's good at talking.
All right. Well, if you want, man, you want to go ahead and introduce the band, and then go around the room with each person, sort of like it's an AA meeting, but more fun because we're not abstaining.
Oh yeah. So HeadTrip Trauma. We are a new metal groove metal band from Creedmoor, North Kakalaki, and we'll start from the left all the way to the right. We got Peter, aka Venom, on vocals.
Hello.
We got
All right.
Zeb, Sledge.
All right.
Bass. Then you got your boy Jason, J-Dog, vocals number 2. And we've got our boy here, Zeke Zero, drummer. And then we've got Alex over here. He is on guitar and backing vocals. And that consists of HeadTrip Trauma.
Cool deal, man. Well,
Gotta get you a nickname, bro.
I've been a fan of you guys for several years now. I met Jason, I don't know, is it 8 years ago, roughly?
It's crazy.
And he came and did a couple of charity events. I'm not sure if you guys were involved with that or not. I was pretty drunk.
Peter was.
So I don't remember much other than I enjoyed the hell out of the music.
Well, no, speaking for myself, I think before this band, I played in Southern rock bands. I've played in damn metalcore bands and shit. So that was pretty much my background. What about you, Zeb? I know you had a couple of bands you were in prior to this.
So the main bands I had was in high school with my cousin. Both of my cousins, they got me into music in the first place. The first band that I had was Artillery.
Oh, sweet.
And so we had 2 cool, solid songs down pat, just never got around to getting a proper recording. And then the other band that I was in was called Tammany Hall. So that was me on bass, my drummer Cole, and then we had our buddy Big Josh up on the microphone rapping.
Nice.
And when we recorded it, we literally just did 1 takes. So me and Cole, the drummer, we come up with the idea. We played a song like 3 or 4 times, and then we just rough take it, 1 take it with the dude on the microphone. And so all our influences was more so like Rage Against the Machine and Alice in Chains and stuff like that. Some Red Hots. But as we got older, it was more so Metallica and Pantera and stuff like that. So
I don't know. I don't know if you guys have met him, but my buddy Ed. Do you remember Ed?
Yeah, I remember Ed.
So
cool as hell.
He's a big Pantera fan, right? And every time we used to get Shedface, that was like the go-to.
Oh yeah,
pump it up in the garage and just get violent.
That's how my cousin Craig is.
Peter, you've been in bands too, haven't you, bro? Didn't you used to play drums at one point, didn't you?
I did play drums for a little bit. Fuck if I know how I could play drums now, but it did happen at some point. No, mostly I've just always had my passion being vocals. I was in a band when I was a kid. I think the first band when I was 12, 13 or so. Didn't really go anywhere. It was more just, garage type thing, just having fun,
Yeah.
A lot of those guys I'm still friends with to this day, so, But it's always just been metal for me.
Nice.
Metal all the way.
Cool deal.
See, I'm with Nameless, of course. You got to tell us a little bit about that. Tell us a little bit about that history, son.
Well, my start really got in marching band when I was in high school. I was influenced, through middle school and high school, I was influenced through a lot of metal, like metalcore, stuff like that. So on YouTube, I saw Slipknot on, and then just went down the rabbit hole from there. Suicide Silence, all of that. And then it just went from there. I didn't really get exposed to an actual drum set until I got to high school. So it was just like, Then I was able to obtain a drum set from my high school teacher. Shout out to Chris Poole, by the way. He's a cool dude. I started, it was just 1 cymbal, 1 hi-hat, and the whole shebang. Yeah. And then with a single pedal, and it was on from there. I put on Craigslist. My wife was just like, you might as well just join a band instead of just playing, covers all
too
day.
damn good at not being a band.
He was like, you know, I was playing the same covers every day type of what I could play. So she was like, just look for a band. So I instantly went to Facebook, I Googled, went to Craigslist, put an ad out, and then Jason had hit me up, and it was just like, I wasn't supposed to wake up that day, not on some like crazy stuff, but like I got off work that morning and I woke up earlier than usual type junk. Gotcha. And I just so happened to see that I got an email from Jason, and it was just like, oh wow, all right, let me check this out. Turns out he had only lived like 10-15 minutes away from me.
Worked out perfectly.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
man,
they sent
some
me the music,
some good CBD
so tell me,
right here.
So tell me, you said that when you didn't put your hands on a drum set till you got to high school. Like when you actually got to get in there and mess with it, like was it a thing that came to you naturally, or did you like have to learn and work hard at it to get it? Because I know, like in my case, my parents tried like hell to get me to play instruments, and no matter how much I tried, it never came naturally to me.
Honestly, I want to say a little bit of both.
A little bit of both,
because I just incorporated the stuff that I knew from drumline into the kit. Okay. And like all I did was just watch other people play. Like I learned by ear, and all I got to do is just watch you one time, and I'm gonna incorporate and take one little technique that you did and just throw it in my arsenal, and it's wild. So
that's cool, man.
Alex, you've been in many bands, bro. Like when HeadTrip first started, we were with this man here, dude. He'll tell you a little bit.
So he had a whole bag of bands.
Oh yeah, whole bag of bands. So it first started. My dad bought a drum kit, and the story of how we got the drum kit is a funny one. So I have 2 siblings, and so one night my dad just gets all 3 of us together and he's like, "Get in the car, we're going somewhere." And we're like, "Okay, we don't know what the fuck this is." And we had like a big ass Chevy Suburban, so plenty of room for a drum kit in there. Mm-hmm. We drive like fucking 3 hours all the way down to South Carolina. This random dude's house and buy a drum kit from him off Craigslist, and we're all like, "Dad, why are you buying a drum kit?" And he's like, "I just wanted to get y'all a drum kit, see if you wanted to play it," because my dad was a drummer and he played in bands and shit like all throughout the 80s, but he gave up on it after a while, and so fucked around with the kit a little bit, never really did much with it. But then one of me and my brother's friends, Jenny, she played guitar, and he was like, "You want to do a band?" And we were like, "Yeah, let's do a band."
Yeah.
So we named ourselves Goose Egg because we were like, we're bad, and Goose Eggs is apparently like a fucking saying for bad, so we'll just be Goose Egg. And we mostly played like covers of like obscure 70s psychedelic rock shit because that's what Jenny was into. So what we played was pretty much dictated by whatever she could play. But yeah, so from there, that band broke up eventually, then made another cover band with some of my friends and my brother as well, called Burning Blades, which is the coolest, most edgiest name you can possibly have.
Sounds ninja-esque.
Yeah, exactly. We played like, I think 2 or 3 shows, and then we broke up. We were just cover band playing like Green Day and all that kind of shit. But then when I actually got serious with the music was when I joined, at the time we were called Gateways. I think I was like 16, and at the time I was living over in Moxville, which is like 40 minutes west of it. Yeah. Then we found the one person in North Carolina who knows where Moxville is.
I drive about, I don't know, well, short of 100,000 miles every year and a half, so around North Carolina working, so I see all kinds of little obscure places.
That's cool, man. But yeah, so I fucking found this band ad for fucking this band called Gateways, and hit them up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we're in Cary," and I'm like, "That's only 2 hours, that's fine." So I joined them. Fucking just was driving 2 hours one way to practice, so 4 hours round trip for every practice. Changed our name to From the Fall, and then we got Dimitri, who is he's actually HeadTrip Trauma's fill-in drummer at the moment.
Gotcha. Okay.
So whenever Zeke can't make a show, he's our fill-in, and another dude named Matt. Yes, shout out to Dimitri. Dimitri, if you're watching this, we fucking love you.
Thank you. For filling in.
So then we changed our name to From the Fall, and we actually got a little bit more serious there. Played like a shit ton of shows all around North Carolina and everything. Then eventually we decided to change vocalists, and then changed our name to Seek and Solace, and that's where like I actually feel like I became a real musician, because I was playing drums at the time too, by the way. I switched to guitar later on. But yeah, so like that was just so much fun playing all the shows and everything, and that's where I really got into like crafting music instead of just
so
like
you
playing
started
music.
understanding
Yeah.
the process versus just what you would see on the other side of it
Yeah,
when you first
yeah,
trying to
exactly.
just figure out your tools and shit. Okay.
Exactly,
I got you.
exactly.
Yeah.
And then from there, I left the band there and just kind of laid dormant, working on like my own like side projects and shit. So I got like an atmospheric black metal project called Hourglass Dreams that I've been working on. And then me and Jason formed up Cold Sin as like kind of an online band. Nah, I'm all good. As like kind of an online band at first. We are planning to take it to a live lineup at some point in the near future, though. So, Cold Sin fans, stay tuned for that.
Nice.
Coming eventually.
So you're
eventually.
staying,
Exactly.
you're staying busy.
Oh yeah, very
as
busy.
fuck.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's the way I like it. But then Peter had to step away from HeadTrip on vocals for a while, and Jason was going to to take over on vocals, and he was like, "Yo, you want to play guitar for HeadTrip?" And I'm like, "Yeah, fuck yeah," because like you know, I'd been a fan of HeadTrip for like a really long time. I remember them fucking tearing that shit up, playing the Haymaker at fucking Sweat back in the day, in
Classic.
fucking 2017 or whenever that was.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the olden days.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so you know, I feel very honored, very privileged to be stepping up and filling Jason's shoes. Because I mean, I love the music and everything, and to be able to be a part of it is pretty fucking awesome. It's pretty awesome.
Hell yeah.
I'm good
I have
right now.
the most unpopular opinion of all time, which is that Suicide Silence's self-titled album is actually good. It's actually good. I actually really like it. It's unique. It's not something I listen to on a regular basis, but when I'm in a particular mood, it just scratches a particular musical itch that nothing else does.
But it's a good album too. Any great album, you start at the beginning, you listen to it all the way through, and
Rush's
it
first three albums.
takes you from one spot to another
Literally.
place.
It's a whole journey for sure.
And if it's a good band, you know, there's a lot of bands where it's hit or miss. They might have 5 out of 10 songs good or 5 out of 8. But there's, you know, certain band is different from everybody too.
Yeah.
You know, because I throw on Rage Against the Machine's first album, the self-titled, and I can listen from start to end. And then, depending on my mood, sometimes I can throw on an Incubus album, you know. Now I listen to a little bit
Incubus
more
is definitely a
heavier
move.
and a
Science
little
was
bit
my
more
shit.
progressive, but, you know, I like a little bit more metalcore now, but still, when I throw on them old albums, it takes me back to where I was the first time I heard it, when I was a kid. And those, you know, it was kind of like the founding blocks of, you know, how I play.
Yeah.
But I like to try and incorporate that into the new metal. Because obviously I like, you know, Slipknot and all that good stuff. I like the new metal bands. Korn, obviously, is pretty good. I think Jason
Fathers of
likes
this
them.
band.
Jason likes them a little bit more than I do. But it's still But I try to incorporate all the things that I grew up loving and all the, you know, newer stuff, even like, you know, Animals as Leaders and Periphery and, you know, or Polyphia, you know, those are all 3 awesome bands. Intervals.
So what do you guys we talked a little bit as each of you went, you know, through and talked about how you got into the band and whatnot. You have your musical influences that brought you into music. But, like, what are some musical influences that you guys all together sort of agree on as far as, like, these are the people that sort of put their salt into our stew?
Slipknot.
Okay.
Definitely Slipknot.
I think Slipknot's a fair one.
Korn.
Korn's definitely Slipknot. Korn.
Maybe a little Static.
Dare I
Static
say?
X.
I say some Lamb of God. There's definitely some
Yeah, I was gonna say
Lamb
Lamb of
influence.
God.
So we're getting some stuff that's not necessarily
Y'all put me
metal.
on the Lamb of
new
God.
stuff, but a lot of
Yeah.
older
metal
Yeah.
stuff.
metal
I
bands.
think
Yeah.
a lot
Okay.
of our sound is
Chimera, definitely.
yeah, definitely.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chimera and Korn.
Yeah.
It's like I think
That's what I would
it's
say.
less that. That's right. What's the right way to say it?
My bad.
It's
man.
like that old school like new metal just had the raw aggression just in your faceness, and I think that's what we
Filter.
take to it. So it's not like, you know, we're not a Slipknot ripoff. At least that's
no.
what I tell myself. Yeah, but like I think we capture like that same kind of energy that Slipknot captured for like their first 2
the fuck is going on? I watched the wave thing
Oh,
up
the
there, and it
fucking
like
wave force.
blew up when he was growling.
That's why I said you gave him a mic.
And he's like,
Like, I think our sound captures that same spirit of aggression, if you will.
The 90s had.
Yeah,
exactly. Like Cold Chamber.
Just that whole,
shot on VHS.
it was
Yeah.
across different genres.
Yeah.
It was
I got you.
many
Yeah.
different genres, but the intensity.
Yeah.
yeah.
Static
Exactly.
ass.
You could not even like the genre. Like, you looking this way, you hear the music, you just gonna be like, what is that? All right,
Like,
that sound all right. No, that's a little hard.
It's gonna
It's a
make your
little
butthole
But
tingle
see,
when
I
you hear
think
it.
honestly, with HeadTrip, the formula has always been to be 100% transparent.
Yeah.
No bullshit. Because a lot of music today is filtered like a motherfucker. We don't filter
Yeah.
none of that shit. We're just
You like rough cut,
exactly like what are we feeling?
underground feel.
What can we say, and how can we put it out to where other people can make a
Yeah.
connection with it? And I think what was the beating heart of what made HeadTrip was
Yeah.
kind of all these influences that each one of us kind of bring in together. Honestly, before Z came into the band, our original drummer Jake Duwe, he was heavily deathcore
Mm-hmm.
influenced, heavily with the Slipknot shit. So the first album, the way drums were originally written, was kind of in that style. But when Zeke came in, he brought in a lot of like metalcore influences, some thrash metal influences, which kind of helped with the new sound as well.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'll say, as far as the band evolving, man, we take it back to the first single, the Haymaker, and then you look at our most recent single, Spiral. Literally, it's been a spiral all the way back from there to this point. Which the good news is, even when we had our lineup changes, it was only like, I want to say maybe a 2 or 3 year gap between this lineup now. You know what I mean? So the music was already there. You know what I'm saying? Like me and Jake Duwe, we spent hours creating the first album. But when this material was brought over to the new lineup, which Peter's been there throughout this entire process, we were just like, you know what? Instead of getting everyone to play exactly how we originally had it, I let everyone else put their own input into it, and then we went and hit the studio and recorded. And with everyone having their influences from different genres, I think what brought us all together was just that nostalgia feel of what the older music would make you feel, I guess you could say.
Yeah,
Not
same
saying
way
that,
you get, same feeling you get whenever you crank your bike up and you turn on
Exactly.
AC/DC or something. You
Yeah,
got that
it-
nostalgic. I just want to
like
aggressively
like
ride on the road.
Metallica, like the Black Album, that whole fucking album back when it dropped. Like, we all were just so heavily influenced by those bands growing up that we wanted to do the same shit they were doing as far as touring and like Dimebag said it best, the money riff.
Yeah.
Every song we do for HeadTrip, we're just thinking, is this going to be a bop? Like, every song's got to be a single, goddammit. You know what I mean? Not necessarily like selling a single, but being every song has got to be important. It can't just be, we're going to write a filler track. Fuck that. It's got to be. It's got to be a banger.
That we look at is like, if we write a song, like, can this song survive on its own?
Yeah.
It has to be able to survive on its own. Otherwise, it can't survive on the album.
Yeah.
Because every song has to be a banger. Like, that's the way we go into it. That's the way
true,
that we
man.
write it. That's why a lot of songs, me and Jason have talked about, like re-recording, like tweak this, add this, take this away.
Definitely.
But there's some songs that we just can't do that to because it was a feeling when we wrote it. You can't relive that feeling.
Like songs like Glassjaw, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect the way it is, man. Like when I look back at the early shit and I look at what we're doing now, it's insane because like the new shit people haven't heard yet. I have no words to explain on how strong this shit is, man. It's probably some of the strongest. And there's other material that we recorded earlier last year, like Push, for an example. There's songs that we haven't even played live that I know for a fact the moment people hear this shit, it's the next level for us, man.
Yeah.
And that's talking, and I know most times a lot of bands will say this shit, and it's like, oh, fuck, we got to live up to it. But I ain't got no worries at all.
It's got to
man.
be a good
This
feeling.
shit, dude,
It's got to be a good feeling for everybody,
to be
right?
honest
Like,
with you, Side Effects, that first album we dropped, dude, we started writing that material in 2016. It took us a couple of years before we even dropped the full length album. So this entire time we've been itching for new material, dude. So when we dropped Animosity, it was kind of like a start of the next generation for HeadTrip, because it was kind of like, you know, we still honor where we came from, but animosity was kind of like, what's up, motherfuckers? It's back to get real, you know?
I ever helped right.
You know, like that was when it was like, all right, this next chapter of HeadTrip is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Because, I mean, I think for the longest time, we were just a local band, you know, and we still are a local band, but for us, we wanted to become more than just a local band. Yeah. You know, we want to help many people. Like, if we could tour all over, that'd be fucking grand. Yeah. But, you know, it went from being, hey, man, let's focus on being this awesome live local band to, hey, let's just be everything that we know we can be and work hard towards being even better than that, and just putting all in the band and not worry about just a local band. And I think that's kind of what's
worry about the
turned the heat up for all of us, really, because, like, you know, Zeke, he tours with Nameless. You know, he has a secondary band that he's fucking killing it with. Check them out, by the way. You know, social media,
for sure.
all that good stuff. I'll say, with all of us doing, like, when me and Alex doing Cold Sin on the side, you know, we have so much time to reflect on the new HeadTrip material, and I feel like, honestly, this new shit that we're going to be dropping is going to be some of the best shit we've ever done, dude. I feel so confident in that shit. I definitely think that the people that have been patient and been waiting on the new shit are going to be very happy. Yeah.
Tell them about how we're doing our recording now, too, bro.
Oh, yeah. All of our recording is DIY now. You know, we've worked with other people. Okay. You know, not trying to shit on anybody. It's just all of us are very busy people. We're all working full-time jobs. You know, some bands ain't go on 2-3 week tours. That's awesome. Fortunately, we live on the grind. You know, some of us are on, you know, touring and shit, but majority of us are pretty much stationary here at the moment until we're able to, you know, go out and spend the money and get tours together and all that good stuff.
Oh, that'll come, I'm sure. You guys have stayed with it.
We'll see.
That kind of stuff will come.
Yeah, I mean, right now we're trying to keep it like all in house. We're hitting through the rest of the year. We got
a lot of shows.
Quite a few shows, but up until, you know, that point, because we've been talking about doing a little hiatus, but we've been trying to get these songs recorded. We've recorded with a couple different, you know, artists, which some of them been awesome, some of them been a little bit of a grind to work with, but now we got our new guitarist, Alex, doing all the recording and all that for us. Nice. And it's so much easier than having to, you know,
coordinate with another person in addition to everybody else.
Obviously it's like, you know, his time is precious, so whatever time that he spends on it is for the band, but it makes it easier because if something has to be done or re-recorded or just even, you know, working on something, it's so much easier to just go over there and hang out with him. Hey, man, what's going on and all that.
Yeah, you know, your producer is one of your friends versus a guy that...
It takes the pressure off.
Yeah, metering you when you're in there.
It takes the pressure off recording or, you know, having to deal with somebody that has their own ideas.
Trying to schedule something, it's you know, like, what time's better for this person, you know, blah, blah, blah.
Not to mention, like, somebody that really knows you, too, like, they can really push you through your limits. So like
they know if you're not getting that.
The beatings will continue until you track it right, Sam.
You can't have your pudding if you don't have your meat.
Well, that's too damn bad.
So it's something like that, but I feel like recording has been going a lot smoother now. It's in a very chill environment. It's just, you know.
If you got room to move, you know, and to feel comfortable, I'm sure that's going to be reflected in your music. It has to be. I mean, it's that way with everything. Yeah. So if you're stressed out when you're driving, you're more apt to flip people off.
And we got somebody that actually cares about the finished product. Yeah. Not lying about, you know, or not talking bad about anybody else, but, you know, it's like this is stuff that has our names on it. Yeah. His name, definitely. I mean, some people, their name don't really mean much, but some people, when they put their name to a product, people are counting on, all right, well, this guy's half-assed, or this guy, everything he releases is, I can tell he spent the time.
You have a reputation you want to uphold.
Everyone that we've worked with in the past, you know, that we've recorded with, I'm thankful for, because it was growing for, you know, each time we recorded. You know, shout out to Wade Harris. You know, I think he did outstanding on Unchained.
Oh, he helped me out so much on Animosity.
Man.
He helped me so much out on that.
I still can't play
Sound effects.
track, so that's kind of a pain.
Well.
We're working on it, goddamn.
Yeah, we're working on it.
We're working on it. But as far as like what made us go directly to DIY is Alex has done many mixes, you know, from all the Cold Sin shit that everyone's heard up to this point. That's all Alex recording.
Most of it is.
Majority of
There
it
it
is. That first album, man.
It's-
If you
yeah,
listen to the first album,
Yeah.
first EP as well, we've always put some type of sample or something that we felt would complete the song.
Yeah.
You know, like "Can I Live?" Originally, we didn't have that electronic shit in the background. Originally, you know?
The extra line in the back.
And I don't know, Brandon Garrison. He's
friends.
the guitarist for Dear Desolate. We worked with him, and he was like, "Yo, I don't know what it is, man, but I fucking hear something in the background." I'm just like, "All right, well, let's fuck around a little bit." So we did like some '90s type synth shit, and it worked out, you know. For that track, Animosity, we got a piece from Tenacious D's "The Pick of Destiny."
Yeah.
You know, the part's like, "You guys gonna turn your brain into shit, bro." Perfect sample. And even some of the new shit, I'm not gonna say anything now, but the new shit, we've always been real. I think a majority of us in the band like love movies and shit, whether it's action, horror, and shit. So we're just like, yo, if this fits the song, why not use it? And
give him a small hint. Don't tell him what it is, but give him a small hint.
Give the fans
What
an
movie-
Easter
Just tell them the
egg.
name of the movie. Just
what
tell them the name of the
movie
movie.
came from.
all right, I'm just gonna say Jack Nicholson with a baseball bat. That's all I'm gonna
Okay.
say.
No, that'll be fun. That'll be fun research for sure.
A little
That's the
Easter
best-
egg.
that's
little
the best
Easter
hint I can
egg
give
for
you.
you if you listen to this podcast.
If you're a fan of horror, you should already know what the hell I'm talking about.
So is before you guys do your shows, I know you're doing more and more of those. We just talked a minute ago, and you said you got a whole stack this year,
Shit ton.
right? What is one thing that like each of you do before you go on stage, like when you're super pumped for this thing? Like, what is the little ritual you do? Do you wear the
Pre-show
same
ritual?
socks, or do you chug a beer?
It's funny because me and Alex were just talking about this at the last show, like our pre-show rituals.
Yeah,
There's a thing because it's like I like 90% of my everyday life is trying to stay out of my head, right? The only time where I'm actually like, yeah, let me get in my head and get my brain all fucked up is before I go on stage, okay? Because it's a feeling.
get the chaos.
Exactly. So what I do is a lot of times, like, I'll keep to myself for most of the night before I go on stage because I just keep replaying certain things in my head. And one of my rituals is I'll go outside. I'll have like 2 or 3 cigarettes or whatever.
Mhm.
Then I go inside, find Jason. Okay? Find Jason. I'm not even joking. This is my pre-show ritual.
He's
I'll
really
find
isn't
Jason.
joking. He isn't.
I'll stand there awkwardly, not say a damn word, and go back outside and smoke another cigarette. And then I'll come back in, find Jason.
You're doing your thing again, aren't you?
Yeah.
I'm already panicking.
Because one of the things is when I get in my head, I pace a lot.
Yeah.
So that's what's really helping me get into my head.
Nice.
That little walk in between, I'm in there thinking about like different shit.
Just
Like,
getting
how
your
are we
mind-
gonna
getting your mind in that,
How are we gonna
that
fuck
zone.
this show up? Like, how are we gonna just like destroy everything? Let's fucking go.
I can't remember the guy's name. I'd have to look it up. But I listened to a podcast the other week, and it was a football player. I think he's retired now. But he was talking about how to get into his zone before going onto the field, he would take like an X number of grams of mushrooms. And then he would sit and think about all his childhood trauma.
Jeez.
And he said he would get to the point where he would feel like his brain start to pop. And he's like, and that's when he knew it was time to go. And he had got it like down to a science as far as the time goes. So when he
Holy
walked out in
shit.
that field, he's like, it was literally like, I felt like I was about to do like some old Viking shit, go in and murder, rape, and kill.
Holy
Oh, yeah.
I was like, can you imagine a 320-pound ready to rape, murder, kill guy on mushrooms?
Yeah.
And they just attack
On
you
shrooms?
for doing it.
Because you don't know what the hell he's seeing.
Jesus
lid,
Christ.
burning mother.
He said he told a guy one time, he said this is back before he had kids. I wish I remember this. But he said he told a guy he was going to eat his children
What the fuck?
right there on the line. He said the guy just looked at him and was just like, he said it got into his head though. He said the whole game, every time he saw him, the guy's eyes would twitch. He's like, and then he would just destroy him.
That's like a lot of the football players.
Psychological
Like when they were on
warfare.
the line, they would eat like antacids and stuff,
Yeah.
like Alka-Seltzer, and just start foaming.
Just get.
I mean, whatever works for you works, man. Intimidation is intimidation.
What about you, Z? What is your I guess your build up before you go on stage? What is it that you're doing?
One thing I see myself doing mostly is like always like stretching or like taking my my drum throne and like hitting it on the pad and just listening to music, playing covers as I go. But it's really Michael Jackson that really be getting me hyped. If I start singing Michael Jackson right before I go on, you probably gonna get the best show of your damn life right there, because I don't know, it's just crazy. I start moonwalking, I start sliding to the left, to the right. I don't know, it's weird.
What about you, Zephyr? What is your thing that you do before you get on stage?
Mine is like a week build up.
Oh.
Four Locos.
It's a week build up. So it's like, we would get the set list, we do our rehearsals and all that. Practice on your own time. When you're at rehearsals, you rehearse the songs. But week before time, I'll just be building up every single day that week, going up and leading up to the day of show day, pretty much. I practice the set list at least once, maybe twice a night, just so I know I'm psychologically ready. It's like, all right, I know I'm not going to miss no notes. Yeah. It's like, I already been practicing. I put the time in. I got it's just second nature.
Muscle memory.
Second nature at that point.
Exactly.
So by the time show day does come up, it's like, all right, just take it easy. I might have some heavy drinks the night before, sometimes not. It's just I don't want to be hungover.
Yeah.
Oh
man.
That's the worst, trying to be hungover and play. It's only happened to me like once or twice, but
It's all right.
get ready for show day.
I've been there.
I throw the album on, whatever we're playing through, I'll just listen to it on the way out there to the show. And then when we get to the show, it's like, all right, we getting ready. So we go ahead and start pulling out our gear and all that, make sure everything's tuned up properly. And, the mental mindset of it is, I have a couple smokes, go and get a double or two, have a couple drinks, don't get sloppy, but I like to have some drinks just to get me loosened up.
Yeah.
It makes me not thinking about, so I'm not like, because I get nervous, I get a little bit of stage fright and all that, so it's like it kind of knocks that edge off, so I'm not up there freaking out, so it's like, doing my practice the week building up to it, I know then I have the confidence of, I know the material.
Yeah.
So I'm not sweating like, I might go up here and screw something up majorly.
Just taking weight out of your pack.
And then on top of that, just have a smoke, have a drink, meditate a little bit about what's about to happen. And you go out there on stage, and then once the lights are on, it's game time.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to go up there pussyfoot, and you don't want to go up there standing still. You don't want to go up there looking like you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Because I've been there, I've done that, and it sucks being on stage and looking stupid up there because you forgot your part. It's not a good feeling. So, it took a couple times playing with the band once I got into it, because that's the first legitimate stage I've been on, playing semi-professional venues. So, and professional venues. Hooligans, some of our favorite bands.
Hooligans, Jacksonville.
We're going to be coming out soon.
I'm trying to remember. I used to go up there when I was a teenager. It was on Hillsborough Street in Raleigh. What was the name?
That's the brewery? 506 over there.
They tore it down and turned it into a parking lot.
It was something over there now.
Merge? Was that
it? Was down there. Was it the brewery?
I think it was a brewery.
I know we were talking about it, I think, and I couldn't remember the name of it. I don't think I can remember the name of it, but that was one of my favorite places to go listen to.
So tiny.
Just like every type of metal you could think of was down there.
True.
What was the other one down there in Raleigh?
It was Volume 11, then became the Maywood.
Yeah.
So we used to go down there and listen to Sky Eats Airplane. And
hope to see those boys back. I missed the Maywood.
August Burns Red and all of this. I mean, everybody would come down there. Embracing Goodbye. I think that was a local band.
Well,
shit.
That's what sucks now. To go see August Burns Red, the closest places you could go is Charlotte.
Yeah, you're a 3-4 hour ride because they don't have the place in Raleigh anymore.
It just sucks, man.
I was also back as far as getting ready before the show thing. Alex, I know you do. I know you have like some stuff that you do. What are some main things that you do, bro? I mean,
Yeah,
throw that
on the
in the
preview.
mix.
the main things I do, I don't have like a totally set routine, but I always get my guitars out, get them set up, make sure they're tuned up and everything. Because I always have a backup guitar. I learned that lesson the hard way.
Oh God damn it! String.
yeah, that sucks. But yeah, I just tune up my stuff. Like if it's really cold inside the venue and really hot outside, or vice versa, I try to like put the guitars in the venue so they're kind of used to the temperature in there, so they're not freaking out and popping out of tune and shit.
I never thought about that
just
before. I
get-
guess you would
yeah.
have to.
I mean, honestly, I don't know
sheetrock to get into the house.
Delicate thing.
I don't
It's a
know
delicate
how
thing.
much it actually affects it, but it makes me feel better. So either way, I do that. Just tune everything up. I tend to spend a lot of time outside the venue, especially if there's a lot of people there, because I just get really bad anxiety in like super crowded spaces and stuff. So if you see me at a show hanging out outside, it's not because I hate your band, or maybe it is because I do. But yeah, no, I just
You'll
I don't
never
do
know.
well with crowded. Like shopping in like fucking Costco and holiday season was just pain, pure pain. So yeah, I mean, just hang out. I tend to go find Jason when I'm bored or whatever.
Coming to me.
For me, it's no, I'm going to have to deal with that line at the front of Walmart. And you're like, why is Walmart the only people that have this?
Off topic. Every time I go to Walmart, first thing I go is, whatever happened in them days when you go to the garden section and get the fuck out? You can't even do that no more. You can't even go.
Same with Lowe's, too.
You gotta go hunt them down. You gotta go hunt them down. Like, hey man, can I get some help out here? And then 15 minutes later, somebody shows up. It's like, well, damn, I could have just walked to the front of the store by this point.
Oh yeah,
Dude, I used to
or
do
going
that.
to
I would
sporting
sneak-
goods and
I check out the appliances.
I get
check out
groceries, go
appliances.
straight to the garden section, and I got like 2 people over there checking out. And I'm like, see you later. They got this shit closed now, son. They say they only do it certain times of the hour of the day, I guess, for the garden section.
Cheapskates.
R.I.P. to the.
If you could perform anywhere in the world, like your dream place to perform as a band, like where would that be? I know everybody may have a
You
different
talking about
for each
venue
person, but
or
like
country?
A venue. It don't matter what country,
Venue or country?
I got one.
anywhere. I mean,
'Cause I don't-
Elon Musk's Mars, whatever, like wherever you want. Where is the dream place to go perform? Like you said, I've been here, or I finally got here. This is it. This is where I've always wanted to play.
I want to play Red Rocks Amphitheater.
Red Rocks.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid one. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm gonna say House of Blues.
Okay.
Good choice, good choice.
Anywhere where all I see is crowd and lights. And it's just
alright, so
like
that's
any
that's-
type of stadium like this. That's just
Yeah.
So you like stadium?
Like-
you
So
like
you're talking
stadium.
stadium. See, I was in the mindset of that
Madison
place.
Square Garden.
No, that place that Pantera played in Russia.
Mosque, bro. Yes,
It
Like,
was,
that's
it was
the
like it was like
crowd.
almost a million
Monsters
people
of
out there or
Rock.
some
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
yeah.
See, that would be yeah.
Can you
They
imagine
had,
the mosh pit in Russia too? Oh my god!
That
With
shit
all that
was
vodka.
sick.
though.
Oh my god.
I mean,
You know,
hey, that shit.
47
We're definitely doing the wall of death out there. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean that.
Peter, what do you think, bro? Where's a place you always want to play at?
To be honest with you, I really don't know.
Honestly, I really want to play in an amphitheater with a rotating stage. You
Didn't
remember back
Kevin
in like
Hart
family?
do a set or a special in a rotating stage?
I think
like,
so.
But it was like it was huge. Whatever
Yeah.
the hell
Like
they
how
called it.
Metallica did
Yeah.
this day set up.
Kind of like Family Values,
Yeah.
1998, where they had Ice Cube, Corn, Limp
Okay,
Bizkit. The stage would literally rotate, and then the other band would be on the other side. I would love to play a show like that, dude. That would be so fucking. Can you guys just imagine, like, we're doing a song with another band, and like we start off, the stage starts spinning, and then all of a sudden I walk on to the next stage, and then we go from one stage to the exit stage.
Is there any kind of best and
I
worst
ain't
advice?
throwing no. I ain't gonna throw no shade at nobody.
Oh no shade, but
I
just
will
like
say
best and
that-
worst advice. They'll know who they are.
Well, I'll just put it like this. A while back, me and Jason had a conversation. I told him, I was like, bro, we should try to do everything we can in-house.
Yeah.
Whether it's videoing or recording. I was like, having a manager.
Yeah.
We've had a couple managers. And I looked at Jason, I was like, it's nice that a manager will push our material and all that, but anybody that needs a manager, that's telling me that they can't manage themselves.
I got you.
So that's a problem in itself. It's nice to have somebody that can give you publicity.
Yeah.
But as in management, I was like, bro, we don't need a manager.
Being more
If we can't manage it ourselves, then we got a deeper problem here.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was a piece of good advice on that, which was going against, having management in the first place.
Yeah.
People that are giving you certain advice that you know damn well don't mean well with that advice. And
yeah.
I think we had a lot of shit in the beginning of our career coming up to midpoint before the last single release.
Yeah.
We had a lot of distractions that we didn't need, and it was like, nah, dude, we know what we need to do, we know what we want to do, and if we do entertain management or anything of that nature, it had to be somebody that's got they want best for not only the band but doing the job in the common interest of, hey, we're doing this job legitimately. There's no shady but shit. There's no bullshit or any of that nature. So I think that's the best advice that we've kind of learned on our own, was not taking rich advice from poor people.
That's a good one. I bet it's hard to figure out, though.
It is, goddamn. We
Everybody
fucking ran our dicks in the dirt for a
There's a lot
while.
of landmines out there. A lot of landmines.
Yeah. I think it's like, for me personally, like, one of the biggest lessons I learned, this is more related to mixing than anything, but it's like, it's really not about your gear or your plugins or whatever you got. You don't need to go spend $1,500 buying every single Waves plugin or whatever in order to get a good sound. Like, there's a shitload of free plugins out there that replicate, analog gear fairly closely. It's obviously it's not going to sound exactly the same, but just because it doesn't sound exactly like analog gear doesn't mean it's not going to sound good. So it's like people go out and spend shit tons of money on gear
Thousands
that they
and thousands.
really don't need.
Thousands of
Yeah.
dollars.
Like, you can spend,
At that price point,
you
probably
can
don't know
drop
how to use
millions
it,
of dollars
I would imagine.
on
That's it.
studio
That's
gear.
it. Yeah.
And if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to do you any
Yeah.
favors. So it's like, learn to walk before you run, because I started trying to run before I could walk, and I ended up spending a bunch of money on plugins that I don't even touch anymore, because I'm like, now I can just do that with a couple EQ moves, and it's all good. So that, and then specifically, if there's anybody out there who's like a bedroom mixing engineer producer, 2 plugins you absolutely need is Sound ID Reference and Real Phones. And those 2 plugins, Sound ID Reference, they have sound profiles for dozens and dozens of different sets of headphones, and it'll correct the frequency response of it so it gets it as flat as possible. So it's basically replicating like a studio monitor setup,
You
more or
need to
less.
be on my speed now.
Yeah.
Because right now, if I told you how this
Over the
studio
radio
was
shack.
recording audio, you'd probably crawl inside of a hole and want to die. It's definitely redneck rigged to the extreme.
Hey, I mean, if it works,
Right now.
it works. But then Real Phones, if you put that together with the Sound ID, Real Phones, it also has some frequency correction stuff, but they don't have as many options for like different headsets you can use. But it also has a feature where, I don't know how the fuck it works, but it's basically replicates the sound of like a real studio control room. So you get a much more accurate like representation of what it would sound like in a real mixing studio. And it's brought my mixes so far so fast just to be able to hear what you're doing, because like with mixing you have to be able to hear how it's going to sound.
All the layers.
Otherwise, everything that you're doing is meaningless, because like if you're mixing it on like a shitty like Bluetooth iPhone speaker or something, you're not going to get representation of all your sub bass frequencies or your high end and everything, and there's going to be nasty peaks and all of this stuff. So you want it to be as neutral as possible so that you can add the spice and everything, and it's not going to sound like shit as soon as somebody puts it on their car subwoofer, massive rig or whatever. So if you are a bedroom producer and you are going to spend money on plugins, 2 that are absolutely worth the money: Real Phones, Sound ID Reference. And this is not sponsored, by the way.
Hey,
This is not a paid sponsorship.
Yeah. I wish they would fucking sponsor me. That would be awesome. if they want to give me
Shout
free
out.
shit, I'm not gonna say
Shout
no.
out, guys.
Shout outs, Real Phone, Sound ID Reference, sponsor this podcast.
So who are some of the bands that you've had like your best collaborations with, like in the past? Who are some of the ones that you've really like, you know, even if you didn't release the song, you like really enjoyed working with them, or you're looking forward to releasing it?
I'd say it's more so like bands that we play with, not necessarily bands that, because we don't really have
much collab.
Yeah, we don't really have no
Like
feature.
your live shows, you don't.
Well,
like,
I mean, not
do
necessarily collab shows. That would be kind of cool though.
Yeah.
There's a couple bands that we would be able to
Okay.
like, you know, mixed band members or all
Jason
come
did
out.
hop on stage a couple times.
Jason hops on stage more than any of us.
Yeah. So he will hop
Nice.
on and
Okay.
yeah, I think I'll see him do like 2 or 3 songs.
Jeffy Uriah, Halloween 10.
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, there's
Okay.
a lot of bands we love playing with.
And moving from the reality realm to the fantasy realm,
Exactly.
like who would be like when you have a crazy dream at night and you're on stage with some band? Who is the band or the artist or
Dream or
whoever?
Trip.
who is it that you would be performing with? Like, you know, if you were, you know, like, yeah, Post Malone got to perform with Ozzy,
Yeah.
and he was like, I've always wanted to fucking do that, you know. Who would be the, you know, I'm in a dream, but now it's real in the fantasy realm? Who would I be performing with for each of you? Like, do you have that?
I've always said that if I can't, if I, you know, let's just say like this band is never going to go anywhere or whatever, if like I'd be happy to retire if I can end my career like playing on stage with Slipknot.
Nice. Okay.
You know,
Yep.
that'd be a good way to end my career. You know,
Would you want to do a new song with them, or would you want to do an old favorite?
probably Sick.
Sick.
I mean, just because
Can't go wrong.
we cover that, so it would be more of a thing of where like
Yeah.
our two bands can come together. You know,
Yeah. What you love, what they love, it all comes together. And you
Exactly.
do something badass.
yeah.
For me,
I'm thinking, man.
No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Honestly,
man.
I had some
Probably
shit
something
recently.
Rage, right?
I have to say this. There's always, I mean, don't get me wrong, like, there's always the, I want to do this type deal. But I have to say, everything kind of came full circle last year when we played with Killer's Confession.
Okay.
That's got Waylon from Mushroom Head,
Yeah.
formerly in that band. That's his side project. 10 years ago from that date that we played with them, I was like fucking fresh out of high school. Went to his show when he was with Mushroom Head, and I was just like, "Yo, I want to be on stage with you one day." You know, like, he's like, "You can do it, but you got to do it for the right reasons." You know, he gave me this whole motivational speech, and 10 years later, we fucking opened it for him. So,
Nice.
in a way, we kind of have, you know, at least had a taste of that. I mean, we've played with a couple of awesome bands. We've played with Dope.
Yeah.
We've played with Jeremiah Syndrome, Killer's Confession.
Head
What else we got, Z? We got Heartsick, Head PE. This next show coming up, we got Tantric, fucking Edema, fucking Crazy Town.
Yeah.
I still can't wrap my head. That shit's wild. It's crazy. Literally.
it's crazy town.
Crazy.
I know
Come, come, my lady. Be my butterfly.
I'm trying to get
Sugar,
better for
baby.
everybody because I get the same parking spot every time we go to Hooligans, and I do not want to lose that spot at all. So I'm not gonna tell y'all where it's at, but just know you see me in that
Just
spot.
know.
I'm not moving. I'm not.
Hey, I'm not moving a muscle, bud.
Yeah. For me, I think it's a toss-up between...
Green Day.
That's a good one. I didn't think about it. Honestly, it's like a three-way tie between like Green Day, Korn, and Gojira, which is a bit of a widespread, but like all three of those bands.
Inside
It's like if any of those three,
It's
you'd be like, I've
Yeah.
arrived. This is great.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, honestly, like getting to play with any of those bands would be fucking awesome. Like,
yeah.
because I listen to a lot of Gojira, and I listen to a lot of Korn and a lot of Green Day. So like those three like just come together and kind of create me as a musician,
Nice.
in the weirdest possible ways.
But you see,
Man, like Peter said, it's either Slipknot, whether it be the start of the show or the end of the show. You feel me? Like where it be people equal shit or surfacing. I gotta do that shit. Like I don't know. That's like the most hype songs for me to play, as far as like covers and whatnot. But also would like to play a song with the sevenfold.
Nice.
That right there. I don't know, bro. Avenged Sevenfold just gets me hyped. I don't care what nobody say. I will not tolerate any Avenged Sevenfold slander. They are top tier. I don't care what nobody say. They are top tier.
I mean, they're mediocre, but
They are top
I like
tier.
their song.
What did I just say,
The
man?
acoustic version was I like their music, but the one that I always ended up going back to was the Dear God song, the acoustic version. Loved
is
that.
good.
It was great.
That's good. Man, honestly, a little piece of heaven.
Yeah.
That's my shit, dude. I'm gonna lie. But,
Hell yeah.
Fun fact: the Rev came in and did those parts in one take.
RP.
But I used to do that back with country
I
music
think to the
back in the day. It was a
great
lot of
Rev.
one-take songs. Like they would just get together.
back in the day, that's all they had.
But I mean, they
One
wouldn't.
take.
They weren't even trying to go for more than one take. You can hear sometimes them still clicking in, the mics or electric guitar. It's crazy. All that.
Honestly, if I had to say, from my point of view, I mean, there's a couple of bands. I mean, honestly,
Aaron Lewis
I've
or Jonathan
always-
Davis, right?
bro, you already know. But
Yeah, see?
I've always, if I could get on stage and do a song with somebody, I say Denzel Curry, bro.
Okay.
That head trip with Denzel, bro, that would be some fucking heavy shit. dude.
That was a complete 180 from where I was going, but
Like,
I accept that answer.
and then like, of course, like obviously, if we could open for like Limp Bizkit or Korn, Slipknot, any of those bands, dude, that would be a dream come true for sure. I mean, really, honestly, whatever we do, as long as like we can make a living doing what we love and continue what we're doing, I think that's the main goal.
Yeah.
Don't matter who it's with, as long as we're
Yeah,
on tour and we're able to
for
pay
sure.
our bills and shit,
For sure.
and we can make a living off of what we love. Fuck, I'm happy. Shit.
So what's coming next?
Wants to
What's
take
the
the
next
More
lead.
big
music.
project? What's the next big project? Any teasers or
More
any
music,
kind
maybe a music video.
of, like something that
I mean,
Don't want to spoil
we
anything
can give
too
them the
much.
name,
but,
right? We can give
No,
the
we're
name
gonna
of
hold
the
off on the
song.
name.
We're gonna
No,
hold
we're
off
gonna
on
hold
the
off
name.
on the name.
All right.
Working title.
We're gonna hold off on the. we're gonna hold
anything
off
anything
That we can
anything
give.
that like even the smallest little, like just a keyword, and then let people sort of sit on that and make their own assumptions, and then you can ruin it or make it great for them at the end.
on- I say
I got
Just
it.
something to piss somebody off a little bit.
shit.
Especially your hardcore fans, because they're if the guys that wear your T-shirts every day.
Well, I think they're gonna be
watch it.
happy as hell with all the new shit for sure. If not even
No.
static.
The chick with the sword at the end of the game.
I mean, I could say.
Dude.
I'll say that
Oh,
we
man.
definitely got new music that's happening. Dare I say, we've talked about a second album. We might drop an EP before that second album. We haven't really made up our minds on whether or not it's going to be an EP or an album, but we are working on it. We do got some stuff set up as far as a video for the next single. All I can say is don't sleep on us.
Good.
Don't fall asleep.
And if you do,
Sleep with one eye open.
set alarm. Don't keep
pillow
tight. Keep snoozing. Then you'll be late for work.
Yep, that's right. Our next song is a Metallica cover.
No, we ain't even gonna tell y'all what the next cover is because then somebody gonna try to steal it. Just know we've been talking about the next cover, and it's gonna be a doozy, and it's gonna be out of the park. But
That's the thing, though. Whenever we openly talk about doing like covers that we're doing, people always steal it.
Really?
People always do it.
Man.
It's like goddamn.
or if we do it, then they go.
Yeah.
Or we've done it for such a long time, and then somebody else does it, and they go, "We've been doing this since day one." And I'm like, "Hey, nah, bitch."
Just do like a hardcore,
No, we don't give a fuck.
Barbie girl cover
Yeah.
or something.
I'd
I'd listen to it for sure.
I'll say this.
We got no competition
This
on
new
that.
shit. This new shit is gonna be very. It's gonna be a little more aggressive than the first album.
Very early Slipknot.
Definitely
influence.
90s influence. That's what I mean. It's still HeadTrip.
More than
but,
usual.
Me and
It's
Peter,
tasty.
me
Very
and
tasty
Peter are going
stuff.
back and forth like in all these tracks. Just fucking Zeke's drums are just
That
on
would be
fucking
nice, too.
point.
Sweet.
Everybody's bringing the clutch. You know, Zeb's got a bunch of bass solos that you wouldn't like. You would hear and you'd be like, "This works in a weird way," but it's actually very fulfilling. So, I think this will be some of the best shit that we've ever dropped, and I think that it's going to touch base on a little bit of experimenting. You know, I think it's safe to say there's some hip hop influence. On this
Okay.
album.
Well, that's cool. That was
Yeah.
going to be one of the questions I asked you before we got out of here today. Is there any kind of genre bending or mixing that you plan on doing with any of your music going forward? Any ideas that you're throwing around? Maybe not you're going to do anything with, but just something that you're like, it'd be cool if we did this and this. Anything?
Not so much with HeadTrip, but with me and Jason's other project,
Okay.
Cold Sin.
You got some side projects.
For our new stuff, we're incorporating a lot of like electronic and industrial elements
Okay.
into it, going kind of like there's a bit of like a dash of 9 Inch Nails in there somewhere. There's a little bit of like newer North Lane kind of stuff. It's heavy. It's heavy as fuck. Like
Some Static X
Nice
influence.
long,
Yeah,
deep,
lots of
basic
Static X,
breakdowns and
definitely.
Oh
shit.
yeah.
oh yeah.
Nice long
We're
pauses.
throwing in some songs that are in drop G, which is
I
just
got
makes it
Drop
even
G
heavier.
for girth.
Yeah, it's very girthy music. We're gonna be the first girthcore band.
We are the Brownie. No.
The what?
The Brownies.
The Brownies.
Actually, I fucked with some of the Brownie, but
Fucking Zeke and Solace, one of them, last band we opened for them. They did really good actually. I know a lot of people give the
Good
Brownie
band.
shit. I don't really know why, honestly. Like their stuff, most of their stuff doesn't do it for me, but they got a couple tracks where I'm like, this is my shit.
Tasty Jams.
Tasty
Z, what you got going down, bro? For y'all that don't know, my boy is in this dope ass thrash melodic death metal band called Nameless Anonymous. What are you guys doing now? I see you guys doing touring shit and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so we just came off the Crawling Chaos tour with the boys in Quiets and Mantis, Existing in Exile, and Summoner Circle, and it was a pretty good tour. Made some new friends, and everybody got along pretty well. We all like
Looked
everybody
out.
was different. Everybody was different genres, so we all
shit.
just fed off of each other type shit. So
Okay.
it was pretty cool.
shit.
We're working on album number 2. It's a concept album. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but it's a pretty cool story. We got a lot of stuff in the works for this year. Yeah, I don't want to give out too much details.
Well, don't, man. Just you wet the whistle right there. But look, I really appreciate you guys coming in today. It'll be fun. You guys are
Thanks for
officially
having
the
me.
very first band that's been on the podcast. So you guys popped the band cherry. I don't know, but yeah, man.
Half life.
But yeah, we can go ahead and end it now if you guys are down.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.